Hi, I'm Eric Siegel with ericstrains.com and welcome to episode 22 of my video train blog series. Okay, so this is going to be a real quick episode. I just did episode 21 about 5 days ago, and since then I've made some progress on the creek area of my layout. I'll show you that progress in just a few minutes. But first of all, I just want to do a little bit of show and tell. I went over to Legacy Station the other day, and I was going over there to pick up a new MTH European steam engine. But while I was at the store, the delivery truck showed up to deliver a brand new batch of Lionel trains. And it was kind of like Christmas Day watching those trains get unloaded from the truck. So let's take a look at some of the stuff that came in. One of the things that came off the truck was a new batch of Trackmobiles. Now the Trackmobile is not a brand new model from Lionel, it's been out for a year or two, but they did another run with some new road names, including one that I wanted, which was Norfolk Southern. So I went ahead and picked one up, and it's really sharp looking. I'm not going to do a review on this Trackmobile because I already reviewed the CSX Trackmobile last year. So if you haven't seen one of these things yet, check out that review I did last year, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. As many of you know, what makes these Trackmobiles so cool is that they're command controlled. They have a miniature TMCC board inside, so you can run these things with a TMCC remote or a Legacy remote. And they've also done another miniature vehicle, the Track Inspection Vehicle, with the same technology in it. Now, one thing that I was really excited about was that in the 2012 Volume 1 catalog, Lionel finally announced a command-controlled speeder. You know, I've always loved the Lionel speeder, but I've been waiting for years for them to put command control into them, and they finally did it in the 2012 Volume 1 catalog, but then, unfortunately, they had to cancel them. And from what I understand, the reason they canceled these speeders was because they were having problems getting the TMCC board to fit inside the speeder. So hopefully at some point down the road they'll fix that problem and eventually we will get the command control speeders. I hope so. Something else that came off the truck was a new batch of Lionel SD40s, including the CSX version that I ordered. As you can see, it looks great. It also runs great and sounds great. I will be doing a review on this engine, but I've got several other engines to review first, so it'll probably be 2 or 3 weeks before I get the review for this engine out. Finally, we come to the big delivery off the truck, which is the engine that a lot of you guys have been waiting for. A lot of you guys have been emailing me, asking me to do a review on it. Well, it finally arrived, the Union Pacific 412-2. This thing is an absolute beast. It's got 12 drive wheels. That's right, 12 drive wheels. It runs great. It sounds great. The 3-cylinder chuff sound is awesome, and it really sets the engine apart from most other engines you probably have on your layout. As you can see, I got the Greyhound paint scheme. Now, I'm sure some of you hardcore guys are probably having heart attacks right now saying, Eric, why did you get the Greyhound paint scheme? UP9000 was never done in a Greyhound paint scheme. I'm aware of that. Lionel did 3 different versions of this model. 2 have black paint schemes and 1 has the Greyhound. I chose the Greyhound because I liked it. One of the things that I like about having a model railroad is that you don't necessarily have to follow the rules. Just because the real railroads do or do not do something doesn't mean you have to follow those rules. You can do whatever you want. It's your railroad, and that's what I do. And the main reason I got the Greyhound paint scheme was the same reason that I got the undecorated EM1 a few weeks ago, and that is that I like the way it looks. It looks different from anything else I have. You know, I have a lot of other black steam engines, but I don't have any gray steam engines, and that's why I got it, just to have something that looked different, that was eye-catching, and that set this engine apart from the other engines on my layout. And that's why I did it. But if you don't like the Greyhound paint scheme, you don't have to get it. They also make 2 black versions, and whatever paint scheme you get, it doesn't matter because underneath they're all the same engine. Now, I will be doing a review for this engine. Right now, I'm in the middle of doing a review for the MTH French 241A steam engine, but I'm going to put that on hold temporarily to do a review on this engine because I've had a lot of requests for this review, so I'm going to start filming this, and hopefully I can get it out by the end of the week, so let's keep our fingers crossed. So that's it for the new Lionel stuff. The last thing I want to show you is the engine that I was going over to Legacy Station to pick up when that delivery truck arrived, which is this MTH Bavarian S36 Express. I have 2 words for this engine: drop dead gorgeous. This is probably one of the most beautiful engines I have ever seen in my life. I'm going to be doing a review on this in the next few weeks, so keep an eye out for it. It is a fantastic engine. The last thing I want to show you real quick is the progress that I've made on the creek area of the layout over the last 4 or 5 days. About 4 or 5 days ago when I made episode 21 of my train blog, The creek area was here. I'd put down the coat of brown latex paint, but that was about all that was here. And as you can see, I've made pretty good progress. This culvert is now glued into place. It was just sitting there loose last time. I've removed the girder bridge temporarily that goes over the creek so that I can work on the creek underneath. And as you can see, I've started putting down the creek bed and the banks of the creek, and it's coming along pretty well. The creek bed itself is made out of several materials. All of them are available from Brennan's Model Railroading, and these are those materials right here. I'm using the Brennan's Superior Sand Fine, Brennan's Rock Creek Sand, and Brennan's Superior Coarse Sand. And then I'm also using the Superior Sand Pebbles, as well as the really fine sand over there. And I just sort of mix them all together and use them for the creek bed. And then the banks of the creek bed are a combination of some of these sands from Brennan's Model Railroading, as well as that earth fine turf from Woodland Scenics. I've also got some rock outcroppings in the creek. These aren't painted or scenic yet, but they're made from the same white plastic casting resin and polyurethane foam that I used to do the other rocks in my layout. If you can see the rocks down there, these are made from the same substance. If you want to know how to make these rocks, check out the 8-part tutorial that I did. It's up on YouTube, and you can find out all about how to make these kind of rocks. As you may or may not know, the creek has a gap in it on the layout. You've got creek over here, then there's a gap where I've put a little pop-up where I can come up in the middle of the layout, and then the creek resumes over here, and you can see it's still under construction over here. So what I did last night is I put this piece of masonite there, and then on the other side of the masonite, what I'm going to do is put a mirror, and that way it'll give the illusion that the creek continues on, even though there's a gap. Anyway, that about wraps it up for this episode. I'm Eric Siegel, and I'll see you next time.